Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. So, let's start off the whole alley part, or the whole devil part. So, she goes to the cemetery to start this ritual, and she decides the best person to sit there and watch, whenever she decides to transfer her or his soul into the baby's conscious, the person who's going to be sitting there watching and taking care of this baby is going to be Charlie Dale. So the devil, kind of, brings him out from hell and was like, hey, listen, I got to task for you. You're going to sit there and watch over me when I transfer my soul in this, this baby's body. I can't even believe I'm saying that. That just sounds so weird and wrong. But, he's like, all right, yeah, sure, whatever. Um, he pretty much wants to know, well, once the devil's soul is transferred into the baby's consciousness, what is it was more like, what do you want to do with the body, like what are you going to sit there and do with the body? And definitely was like, yo, you can do whatever the hell you want. I don't need it anymore, so like, why do I care? um Meanwhile, you got Ben that's getting frustrated, um because Sean is there talking to the local police, and they set up barricades, this, that, and the third. But Ben at this point is like, yeah, that hasn't stopped me before. So, we need to do something. Meanwhile, you got Ciara that's like crying, and she's in the bed, and she's, hoping her dad can sit there and watch out for baby Bo until they get there. And Evan shows up. Evan shows up, and it seems like he wants to kill Ciara. So they start fighting, and he starts trying to strangle the life out of her. And then Ben shows up. And I'm not gonna lie, the way they ended this fight scene just seems so typical. It seems so typical that you could have skipped it and just knew exactly what's going on up happening. So they fight, Ben starts losing, and then Ciara comes in and saves him. So yeah, I don't know. I just felt like it was a little kind of cliche, but whatever. So at some point, Sean comes in there and arrests him, and Evans pretty much just tells them what's going to end up happening with their baby, as far as the devil taking over the baby's body and everything like that. Um, at some point, they do get a call. Well, because Marlena was initially trying to call them. Finally gets a hold of Marlena, and Marlena tells them, where the baby, where everything's going to be going down. So they head down there. Now, before that happens, and before Marlena gets there, Susan is literally trying to get Johnny once again to try to reach out to Allie, but he's not able to do it. The devil was just too strong. But when Marlena comes in there, they're able to sit there and contact Allie, and Allie tells them where they're at, and the ritual's about to start. And I'm just like, at this point, I'm partly just like, all right, so this. This story is needs to start to come to an end at this point. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know some people don't believe in possession, and you don't believe in the devil and stuff like that, and that's fine. That's whatever. But I do. I believe in the devil exists, and I believe that possession does happen. So it's not so much like it's not grounded and it's not real. It's not that. It's just after, especially when they start doing this whole psychic contacts and stuff like that with Johnny and Ali. Like then it just gets to a point where it starts to get very cartoonish, and it's just hard to take it seriously. And I know that in these soap operas, they're meant to be a fantasy, and I get that. But at some point, it becomes it goes from fantasy to just straight up cartoonish. Um, Anyway, they able to sit there and contact Allie, and Johnny goes down there to, stop the ritual. Now, at some point, Marlena's like, what's going on? We can't get a hold of Ben. Maybe we should go down there. And Sue's like, no, 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 no. We gotta let Johnny sit there and handle this alone. This is his fight now. And I'm like, whoa, let me get this straight. You just you're totally cool with sending your grandson to fight the devil by himself. That makes sense. No, no, it's their fight. What? What? I'll be sitting there trying to contact every damn family member that I can. Not to mention I'll be going down there myself, but at the very least, like, I'm not just gonna let him just go there by himself. Like, she was like, oh, it's his fight alone. I'm like, he's your damn grandson. I don't know why I'm sitting there trying to inject logic into a soap opera. That's just stupid. That's just dumb. Now, Steve is sitting there talking to Kayla, and long story short, Steve thinks that Paulina is lying because the weapon that they recovered, he said it was like a police issue gun. And, at some point, I'm looking at this whole thing and I'm like, they're going to sit there and take a look at the serial number and everything like that, and they're going to match it to Lonnie's gun. So I don't understand what is Paulina doing by lying. And Lonnie is a cop. They could have played this whole scenario out a lot better. They could have made it seem like Lonnie came there to sit there and um save Paulina and kind of dress it up, because at the end of the day, there's only two witnesses. There's Lonnie, and then there's her mother. And I'm pretty sure even if Abe awoken up or he heard some of it, he's gonna sit there and cover his daughter. Okay, he's just gonna do that. But instead, she decides to let Paulina take the blame and be like, this is not gonna work. The gun is going to match the fact that it's her gun. Um, so I don't know how the hell they plan on getting that gun back, but now this whole thing's gonna come out. And I feel like this time, if Eli tries to protect her, Eli may lose he's definitely going to lose his job. Okay? And to be honest, he may actually lose his freedom. Because Lonnie is deciding to lie to this man again. I cannot make this up. Now, at some point, Trip comes over there and they're talking about Allie. And then there's one point where Trip says some slight remark about Allie. And I don't exactly remember what it was, but I remember it being a remark where both Kayla and Steve was like, hey, oh, oh, hey. Um, and, they get Trip to open up because, Trip was like, I'm fine. I don't need, I'm not hungry or anything like that. And, long story short, Trip is still angry at Allie, and at the plans that he made for her, the plans that he made for her for their lives, as far as them getting married and just having this amazing life together and all the different experiences they get to sit there and share with Henry. He literally planned out his life to be with her, and she couldn't even be honest. She couldn't even be honest with him, at the end of it. And so he was pissed off. Kayla's talking about, oh, well, maybe one day y'all can be friends. And I'm like, listen, I get that is like your niece or you're related to her somehow, but I don't know what planet you actually think that somebody cheats on someone else, and at the end of it, we're just gonna be the best of friends. Like what fairy tale land do you live in? And I get it. Steve is also I don't know how. Yeah, I think because Allie called her Uncle Steve, so they're related somehow. Maybe I don't know. But I'm just like, yo, listen, don't get mad at him because he still had that same energy, okay? Now, then he goes and he says something along the lines of, yeah, I'm still in love with her, And I'm just like, what did you just say? Because, up until this point, I expected this level of energy. Okay? I expected this level of energy. The only reason why he actually held back on Cynthia saying more about her because of the situation that she was in. But he was still angry with her. And I'm like, you gonna sit there and tell me that the woman who cheated on you twice with the same person, you have the audacity to sit there and look everyone in the face and be like, I'm still in love with her? You're still in love with a You're still in love with a woman who cheat. You're still in love with a person who cheated on you. What? And I'm just gonna move on. I'm gonna move on because I know I'm a person that holds on to grudges, but that at the very least, I mean, come on. Let's just move on. I'll be honest. This was the one scene of the one storyline that I didn't really care about. In this episode was the Lonnie and Chanel stuff because to be honest, they didn't really talk about much. I mean, all they really did was get people caught up, or caught up to some extent as far as Ray being dead and Ray being the one that shot Eli, and Eli woke up, and Lonnie trying not to trip over over her own lies, and they talk about Beth, and at the end of the day, when Chanel Smith asked him questions like, "Yo, what's going on?" Lonnie's like, "Listen, I've been on fumes since last night." So they both decide to go to visit Eli since he's awake, and she gets to sit there and see him for himself. That he's well and okay as far as Chanel goes. So that's pretty much about it, more or less. But again, I'm just looking at this whole thing. I'm like, now I was watching kind of a crappy version, so I don't know if her gun was actually on her. Because I'm gonna be honest, if her gun wasn't on her in that picture, because there's a picture, there's a point in this episode where she's sitting there thinking about just shooting Ray with her gun. Obviously, not a pew pew. Um, but then they show her hip and they show, the holster. And I don't know if they actually showed the gun because, again, I was really watching a crappy version. Um, but I'm just like, either A, if that gun is not on her, she's screwed. Or B, if that gun is on her, well, she's still screwed because then she used another weapon and they can clearly trace it and tell the difference between a regular gun, a regular handgun, on the streets or whatever, as opposed to, a cop issue weapon. But this is the story that they're going with because it makes sense to somebody, so this is what we're gonna do. Now I'm not gonna lie, I feel like this whole devil storyline, especially today, really made a lot of sense seeing how it is Friday the 13th. Um, now I'm not gonna lie, partly I almost want to watch Y&R. I almost want to watch Y&R because I still remember Tess and Mariah decided they wanted to get married on Friday the 13th. I can't make this up. I really can't. Um, because they thought that was a good idea. Just double check. Oh, so anyway, Johnny gets there and he confronts Charlie. Well, he gets there, he sees Allie, he tries to, reach out to her, but the devil is just too strong. And he sees Charlie. And now, Johnny's all like, listen, I want to kill you when I first heard about what you did, and now I get my chance. And then 5 minutes later, well, I should sit there and say, about 20 seconds later, Johnny's on the ground. Apparently, Hell has a good workout gym. So, yeah, that's pretty much the way that went. Now, the devil just sit there and say, listen, once I'm done with, me, with this ritual, you can do whatever the hell you want with these two bodies. So the devil's pretty much about to perform he starts to perform the ritual. And then, Ben and Sierra show up. And I'm just sitting there looking at this like, partly I was like, well, Sean can stop him. Johnny couldn't stop him. Ben couldn't stop him, but Sierra and Ben, they're gonna stop him. Oh, okay, all right, cool. Let me guess. With the power of love or some hopes and dreams speech? Okay, well, whatever works. This is a soap opera, so. In some ways, this devil storyline doesn't work. Because in a lot of ways, you're trying to put two genres together. You're trying to put horror and a possession storyline, and you're trying to have a soap opera, on a soap opera. And I mean, let's be honest. If this was played out like a horror, a lot of people would have been dead. Because I mean, why the hell is Devil Snitch going through so much work of trying to get around these people, circumvene through all these different scenarios, when the devil could just sit there and just snap their necks and just, well, pretty much end it, you know? I remember listening to saying that before, and somebody was like, well, they can't sit there and kill off this person and that person. I'm like, well, yeah, because it's a soap opera. Which is why, again, these two genres is not really working out too well. It's like they have to dumb down certain stuff for the horror part to make the soap opera stuff work. Um, and I think that's one of the many problems with this storyline, at least for me. Anyway, I feel like that's about it for the most part. I mean, yeah, Sean did sit there and interrogate Evans, but he didn't really sit there and say anything new that they didn't know about. So yeah, I feel like that's about it for the most part. So with that being said, I'm gonna go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next video.